So my brother bust out too. I don't talk am before. I dey talk am again. Say African leaders, the way that they behave like people where their head no dey straight. Imagine me getting visa to go to South Africa, Nigerian getting visa to go to South Africa. Okay, I should go and do my visa to go to Sierra Leone, to go to Ethiopia. No, now their head come house. Now you can go to South Africa. They say they are trying to make the plans so that you can travel from your country to another country, spend 90 days, then come back to your country. That is how it's supposed to be. This will enable us to grow our economy faster. I want you to share your opinion on this. Watch this video, comment your opinion after watching. Hit the like button so that Facebook will recommend this video to everybody in Africa. Share this video because right about now, it's about to get down.
A visa-free Africa. A scenario in which Africans can travel between African nations without the hassle of obtaining a visa. This significant development has been in progress for a considerable period, but recently, African countries have accelerated their efforts in this regard. Some nations have already taken the initiative to allow Africans to travel to their countries without the need for a visa. One of such countries is Rwanda. On November 2nd, Paul Kagame, during the 23rd Global Summit of the World Travel and Tourism Council, said Africans are now allowed to travel visa-free to the country. This made Rwanda the latest nation on the African continent to announce such a measure aimed at boosting the free movement of people and trade. President Paul Kagame made the announcement in the Rwandan capital, Kigali, where he pitched the potential of Africa as a unified tourism destination. Any African can get on a plane to Rwanda whenever they wish, and they will not pay a thing to enter our country. We should not lose sight of our own continental market, he said. Africans are the future of global tourism as our middle class continues to grow at a fast pace in the decades to come. Another African nation that has announced visa-free travel for Africans is Kenya. Kenyan President William Ruto has announced the impending removal of visa requirements for all African visitors by the end of this year. Speaking at an international conference in Congo-Brazzaville, President Ruto emphasized the need to eliminate visa restrictions among African nations, stating that such restrictions are counterproductive. He highlighted the adverse impact of visa restrictions on businesses, entrepreneurs, and travelers. When people cannot travel, business people cannot travel, and entrepreneurs cannot travel, we all become net losers. Let me say this. As Kenya, by the end of this year, no African will be required to have a visa to come to Kenya. Our children from this continent should not be locked in borders in Europe and also be locked in borders in Africa, he said. This announcement was met with enthusiastic applause from conference attendees. The African Union, AU, has long pursued the goal of facilitating visa-free travel within the continent. Although there have been regional agreements and bilateral arrangements, progress towards completely unrestricted travel has been slow. The AU launched its African passport in 2016. The idea behind the passport is for all African citizens to be able to travel throughout the continent without visas, but it is still not widely available. The African passport and free movement of people are aimed at removing restrictions on Africans' ability to travel, work, and live within their own continent, the AU says on its website. AU also launched the African Continental Free Trade Area, a continent-wide free trade area estimated to be worth $3.4 trillion with a unified market for the continent's 1.3 billion people, and to boost economic development. Before we continue, if you find this video engaging, please show your support by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. With that said, let's proceed. Visa-free Africa aims to emulate the Schengen area in Europe. The Schengen area consists of 27 European countries that have formally eliminated passports and various border controls at their shared borders. This arrangement operates essentially as a unified jurisdiction, implementing a common visa policy for international travel purposes. Visa-free Africa seeks to establish a similar framework within the African continent, promoting seamless travel and closer collaboration among African nations. African countries are actively working towards establishing a system similar to the Schengen area in Europe, where Africans can travel freely across African nations without the need for visas. This initiative has long been advocated for by numerous Africans and activists, including prominent figures such as Julius Malema. In a pre-election interview in 2019, Malema, the leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF party in South Africa, voiced his strong support for the elimination of borders within Africa. Malema argued that borders were imposed on Africans by colonial powers, and abolishing them would signify a crucial step in decolonization. He emphasized the historical context, pointing out that before the imposition of borders by colonialists, there was unrestricted movement of goods and services across the continent. Malema expressed his desire to revive this practice. Many of Malema's arguments align with the objectives of the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, a significant agreement signed on March 28, 2018, by African countries. The AFCFTA aims to promote intra-African trade by creating a single market for goods and services on the continent, ultimately fostering economic integration and regional cooperation among African nations. The AFCFTA is the world's largest free trade area, bringing together the 55 countries of the African Union and 88 regional economic communities. The overall mandate of the AFCFTA is to create a single continental market with a population of about 1.3 billion people and a combined GDP of approximately 3.4 trillion US dollars. The AFCFTA is one of the flagship projects of Agenda 2063, the African Union's long-term development strategy for transforming the continent into a global powerhouse. As part of its mandate, the AFCFTA aims to eliminate trade barriers and boost intra-African trade. In particular, it is to advance trade in value-added production across all service sectors of the African economy. The AFCFTA will contribute to establishing regional value chains in Africa, enabling investment and job creation. The practical implementation of the AFCFTA has the potential to foster industrialization, job creation, and investment, thus enhancing the competitiveness of Africa in the medium to long term. Many African nations have been taking steps to facilitate travel for Africans, either by making it completely free or significantly lowering restrictions. While completely dropping all visa restrictions might be a challenge at the moment, the Visa Openness Index report suggests alternative measures. These measures include reducing fees, establishing visa on arrival standards for African visitors, and implementing a secure visa system. As of 2022, Seychelles, the Gambia, and Benin are the only African countries allowing entry for all African citizens without a visa, according to an AU-backed report. Additionally, Ghana and South Africa recently entered into a visa-free agreement, enabling citizens of both countries to travel without visas. This agreement applies to holders of ordinary passports and allows travelers to transit through, depart from, and stay in either country for a cumulative period of up to 90 days without seeking employment. In January, South Africa also signed an agreement allowing Kenyans to visit the country visa-free for up to 90 days within a calendar year. The efforts made by African countries and the African Union to promote visa openness within the continent are commendable. These initiatives have the potential to significantly enhance economic growth and collaboration. By easing travel restrictions, African nations can encourage tourism, boost business partnerships, and facilitate cultural exchange. This increased mobility can foster economic cooperation, attract investments, and promote intra-African trade, ultimately contributing to the prosperity of individual countries and the entire continent. What do you think about visa-free Africa, good or bad? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so as to get notified once we upload a new video.